I am Christina Maag. I'm with Hoopla.
And I'm Megan Hamlin with Southern Branding.
And today we are going to be, first of all, we're going to try to keep it short and sweet today, 10 minutes or less, because I know our first one was long. Today we're going to be talking about something called brand fill. And so Megan, what would you describe as brand fill, or how would you define it?
So I think brand fill is kind of twofold. I think brand fill, it's talking about sustainability and keeping things out of a landfill and not being wasted dollars. And then it's also the wasted dollars part. It's, when you have these big trade shows and you feel like you have to have something and you're focusing on large quantity and low price versus something that's of meaning and a value. So
Well,
that's brand fill.
I think that's a great definition of it. And what I would probably add on to that is, in my mind, I'm newer to the industry. And so when I think of brand fill, I also think of not only that high quantity, low price point, but I also think to myself, if you're giving something out, let's say at a convention, and you're sticking with that mentality and you're not thinking about usability, it is going to end up in the brand fill. It's going to end up in the landfill, and it's actually a waste of money for you. So I always try to advise my clients, you either want to have something that's useful that not many other people are going to have at the convention. Like when I go to a convention, I go to, our convention, we have our yearly conventions that we go to. I love a bag because I'm getting so many freebies. I need a bag. I love snacks because I'm starving. And so there's a couple little ways that you can be kind of a strategic with how you're doing your giveaways, and it still doesn't cost a ton of money. Now, if you want to give away something that everyone else is giving away at a convention, let's say pens are a popular one, lanyards are a popular one. If you're going to give that stuff away, you better make sure that yours is the best one at the convention so that people want to keep that one.
Totally. So, there's someone that we both know in the industry who talks about things being keepable, wantable, and stealable. And so that's like a totally adopted that, and shout out to charity. Like that's what I talk about: keepable, wantable, stealable. Like those are the things that it has to be, and it has to be of purpose. And so, part of the conversation when you're working with, a branding professional, a promotional products professional is it's really partnering with someone that's going to have those conversations about asking the questions of, what is the event? Who is the user? How do we create value? What will be valuable? Will it be something that they'll want to keep in their home? Will it be something that's not just going to end up in the trash can? And, part of that is our responsibility to talk about with clients so that they aren't just wasting their dollars and wasting their money, and things get, in that left in the hotel rooms or in the trash cans and all of that.
And that's another thing I guess I think about too with brand fill is when you were talking about who is the user, that is the number one question I like to know. What is the demographic and what is the purpose of you giving this away? Is it a calling card? Does it need a call to action? Because you can get creative with a QR code or some sort, or, you can get creative with if there is a call to action. And like, let's say, it's a giveaway at a home and garden show. You want to be strategic with that. You're not going to give out calculators necessarily there. You'd want to give away maybe like, some seed packets or like some grow kits or something like that. So I think that's super important to know those questions and know your audience on who's receiving these items.
I mean, this leads into, we kind of talked about that right before, but, there's so many different aspects of this. And, one part is what you said with, if you're going to give away the lanyard or the pen, make sure that it is the best one. And one way to do that is also with the messaging that you're putting on the item. So it's like, if you're giving away that convention tote and it's that super cheap budget one that's going to rip, like, that's going to get thrown away. Maybe you do one that's just a little bit higher quality, and maybe you put that's a cute message on it that says totes or carry on or whatever. The logo is not the focus of it. So something like that is going to get kept versus the one that has the huge logo on it that's going to stay in the hotel room and not be taken back.
And, I always try to advise my clients when they're being super price conscious and I'm kind of creating that presentation for them. I always try to give them a good, better, best on if they're asking, like you said, if they're asking for that convention tote, I'm going to give them the good, better, best so that they can see, okay, if I spend 50 cents more a piece, I'm getting a canvas tote that, has a 2-color imprint, whatever it is. And we're going to work on making it look more retail, like you said. So it's not,
Yep.
the logo is still going to be there. It's
Mhm.
going to be there, but it's going to be, shown in a way that people are going to want to keep using the item.
Totally. I read something recently, and it was a LinkedIn blog piece that somebody did, but it was talking about events and brand fill with apparel and t-shirts. And we see this all the time with big golf tournaments and, logos all over. Like
Yeah.
that $50 polo is never going to get worn again.
Right.
It's getting in the back of the closet or being thrown away. And then the same thing, when you're doing marathons and training, doing things like that now. Okay. So when you get those t-shirts, like if it's not a high quality, super soft t-shirt that has some cool art on it, like, you're not going to wear that again.
Right.
If it's that really scratchy, we know those brands
Oh,
t-shirts.
yeah. I
That has the sponsor logos all over the back. Like it's probably not going to get worn. So that's another great point is talking about it with the apparel side.
Oh, totally. And, the other thing that I want to say, and I'm going to keep us on time. We're just going to go a couple more minutes. But the other thing I want to say is everything you're saying, that is why it is important to find a brand partner and use them consistently. So, you can trust them. They're going to give you advice. We know the brands. We know what's quality, what's not. We know how to get you a shirt that's soft for only like 20 cents extra. Like you self-serving yourself isn't, it's fine, but you're not going to have the security knowing that you're getting a quality item that's not going to end up in the brand fill.
Totally. Absolutely. And, you want somebody that's also advocating for you
Totally.
as well.
Well, I just had a project for a client, and you know how horrible the industry is right now with stock and just them changing everything because they're so busy.
Talked about that on our last call if you didn't watch it.
That's right, that 40-minute call. And so we had a 4-color logo. And so we decided to do a heat transfer on a cinch bag, on a cinch backpack. And then when I finally put the order through, which it had been a couple weeks, they came back to me and said, we can only do, a 3-spot color logo. We're not doing heat transfers now. And so I had to alter the art, blah, 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 blah. But when you said advocating, I went back to them for my client and said, what can you do to make this right? Can you match the original price? Can you waive the setup? What can we do? So when I explain this to my client, I'm giving them something in return. And sometimes I'll even just take it off my end. I'll just deal with it on my own.
Yeah, that's what we do.
The relationship is what's important. And I want my clients to always know I'm fighting for them. So I thought that was really, when you said advocating, that is definitely something that I work on. But we need to wrap up.
Okay.
What we did want to say is, if you want to know more about the topic, because we were quick.
I'm like, I don't know. What did we want to say?
We talked about this. So if you want to know more about brand fill, or if you just have like questions about items or whatever we're talking about, because we're shortening our episodes to 10 minutes or less, you can DM Megan at Southern Branding or Christina at Hoopla Boise. Or you can, comment with your questions. And if there's enough content, we're happy to do a follow-up episode and talk about all the questions that were asked. So we don't want to leave you in the lurch, but we also don't want you to have to feel like you have to watch 40 minutes of us talking.
Yep. There's so much that goes into this. And I feel like it's kind of like the circle of the circle of life, like the circle of promo. Like it's like the perception of our industry as a whole, which is kind of that trash and trinket kind of perception. Right. Yeah. And that it all goes in a big circle, talking about the brand fill, messaging, meaningfulness, purpose. So there's a lot we could get into with it.
Oh, I have. Yeah, I would love to at some point do an episode where we show what we do for our own, as you call it, self-promo, what we give away to new clients or clients, because I'm very strategic. I will not give away junk because it's a reflection of me and my brand. So that could be a fun topic.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to close on the promo talk, and I'm going to go into quickly. We're going to do always at the end of an episode, a personal question so you can get to know us better. So my question for Megan is, what was your favorite movie growing up as a kid?
Oh, wow. I guess I could say Lion King, since that's like top of my mind.
Really?
Circle of Life, but that's not true. No. Okay, I'm gonna have to think about this. We didn't say what the questions were.
I know, I surprised her. Okay.
Okay, so not from like a kid, maybe more like tween teenage, but so Dirty Dancing,
Oh,
loved
yeah,
that
that's a great
movie.
movie.
Yes, still listen to the
Yeah, oh,
soundtrack all the
totally.
time.
Hungry Eyes.
Um,
Yeah, that was at the roller rink all the time when I was a kid.
yep, all of the Indiana Jones movies.
Oh, those are good.
Is it War of the Roses? War with the Roses.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, like all of those. That was what I watched.
Um, those are all great movies. I would say when I was, growing up little, I really liked The Never Ending Story.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And then I also really loved Goonies.
Goonies, yes. We
So,
recently just watched Goonies with Hayden.
oh,
So
we have our kids watch all the classic movies that we watched when we were
yes,
young. And they're like, is this like really old? I'm like, yes, it's old, but it's really good. And at the end, they always love the movies. So we'll end on this note because we're now at 11 minutes. And thank you for joining us. And if you have any topics you want covered,
let us know.
comment or DM us.
Yep. Okay, bye.
Bye bye.